Hello everyone, this is of course Goku-san DBZ, and trying a little bit of a different look today, and in the background, change bookshelf now. If you're curious, this is specifically anime. So with that said, thought I'd mention a little bit of my overall opinions as a whole for the Dragon Ball universe, starting with of course Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z. The somewhat always controversial Dragon Ball GT, and of course, more recent era, Dragon Ball Super. So, when it comes down to it, these four series, what is it that stands out most to me personally? Well, when it comes down to it, of the series, of course there will always be, I think, quite a few people out there in the world that will defend and say Dragon Ball is the best overall series of the four series. Though technically speaking, GT is nowadays considered, of course, obviously non-canon thanks to Dragon Ball Super, but we'll get to that in a second. The music of choice today is Goku Super Saiyan 3 transformation music, which would appear in Season 7, also the Majin Buu saga of Dragon Ball Z. So with that said, yeah, Dragon Ball, of course, started the entire franchise as a whole. Obviously, it holds a special place, and Dragon Ball would go on to have 5 full seasons overall on television, as well as, I believe 4 movies. Now, 2 of the films basically aren't even acknowledged for the most part, because they're non-canon, though to be fair, quite a few of the Dragon Ball Z movies are non-canon, let's be honest. There are those exceptional few Dragon Ball series, as well as Dragon Ball Z and stuff films, that are not acknowledged. Your first 3 Dragon Ball films are non-canon. Same thing can be said about all 3 of the Broly films are non-canon. And so on and so forth. Really, some of the only ones that are technically canon are considered more specials than actual movies, that being The History of Trunks and Bardock the Father of Goku. Those 2 are actually considered canon, at least according to the creator, Akira Toriyama. Now, of course, obviously, Dragon Ball is the series that holds the biggest place for me personally, as the name of my YouTube channel, obviously, dedicated to Dragon Ball Z as a whole. And with that said, everything has its own specific order and necessary elements throughout the Dragon Ball universe. Whether it be if you're a Japanese dub-only person with the English subtitles, or you're somebody like me who personally prefers the English dub from Funimation. Though I still go back sometimes and kind of have a little bit of a nostalgia thing for the original first 2 seasons of Dragon Ball Z, originally first English dub, being done by, at the time, Pioneer Entertainment, which of course has more or less completely done away with their interest in anime throughout the years. When it comes down to it, let's be honest, they don't really... Pioneer has not really done any English dubbing or anything for quite some time. They focus more on things nowadays, electronics predominantly. But with that said, yeah, the first 2 seasons would be done by Pioneer Entertainment, as well as many other animes would start off from Pioneer and get adapted by other companies, such as Pokemon. Fun fact. But with that said, Dragon Ball is unlike any other series when it comes down to it. One thing that makes Dragon Ball different is the fact there are 4 series, even though technically 3 of them are canon, and the 4th is not. Though technically speaking, the last batch of episodes of DBZ are non-canon, because in Dragon Ball Super, we see nothing, no acknowledgement or anything for the existence of a character that would appear at the end of Dragon Ball Z originally and would become one of the main, sadly, side characters in GT. Of course, that is the character Oob, which later on in Super, or not Super, but GT, would merge with Majin Buu, and they would fuse together and create what would become known as Majin. I know, kind of weird, of course, the fact that Oob is Buu backwards. Sort of like how Yen Sid backwards is backwards for Disney. With that said, yeah, Dragon Ball, the original first series, is very much a big blast of nostalgia for me and for many other people. Though I, like probably quite a few people, were first introduced with Dragon Ball Z rather than Dragon Ball. It would be a few years later. First time I saw Dragon Ball was like early weekday mornings on Fox, before Funimation would appear. So I grew up at first knowing the first couple seasons from Pioneer Entertainment English dub is what I will always remember best. And it's kind of weird going back now and watching the redone seasons 1 and 2 English dub over and everything, plus added in originally deleted scenes and stuff. But it would be really, the reason why I pulled also, it would be season 3 onward that Dragon Ball Z would become best well known out of the franchise as a whole, specifically for the English dub and the actors and everything. Though I still don't like the fact they changed voice actors for Frieza and Super. That's one thing I'll say. I preferred the original voice actress who played Frieza. Fun fact, also was the same one who did the voice acting work in Yu Yu Hakusho for, of course, the character Genkai. In case you weren't big onto Yu Yu Hakusho. But with that said, for me, of course, I'd say most people, Frieza Saga is one that, for me personally, holds the biggest thing, also known as Season 3. For me, Frieza is the definitive villain of the Dragon Ball Z franchise, or rather, the Dragon Ball Z series. Out of the 9 seasons we got total, and like 280 some, 209 some episodes, which is quite impressive compared to most anime. Only a small handful has surpassed Dragon Ball in episodes. Naruto Shippuden, if I can say it right, and of course Bleach, and One Piece. But with that said, every series has its own specific characters that you'll want to, or rather, enjoy and adapt to and like. With, of course, Dragon Ball, it was young Goku. Master Roshi was really actually enjoyable and very funny. More so in original Dragon Ball than later on. And of course, his alter ego, he would go by known as Jackie Chun, which is play on, of course, referring to other real-life people. But also the fact, it was a great first few seasons, plus the introduction of characters later on, like Chaozu Tien, obviously originally with the Crane Hermit, big arch rival to, of course, the Turtle Hermit of Roshi. Of course, then you would learn that the Crane Hermit was also the older brother of Mercenary Tao, which of course later would be in the English dub called General Tao, but actually Mercenary Tao. It's weird how they change wording and things. Characters would, other ones interesting would appear. I would say, arguably in my opinion though, some of the worst characters in the franchise came from Dragon Ball. Like, I'm personally not a fan of General, or whatever you want to say, Red, of the Red Ribbon Army. Not a big fan of the character as a whole. Never care much. There were other characters from, though, the Red Ribbon Army that I actually enjoyed quite a bit. Of course, we would see that play more so into Season 4 of Dragon Ball Z, mentioning, of course, General, or rather, Dr. Gero, which, of course, would eventually appear as an android himself, as Android 20. But yeah, it's interesting. And of course, later on in Dragon Ball GT, which is arguably by many people the most despised and most hated series out of the 4 series. Do I think it's the weakest? Well, it depends how it really come down to it. I like Dragon Ball Super, I'll admit I like it quite a bit, especially for specific characters. But I could say something about GT, I actually liked characters like Oob, and I wanted to see what potential and what more we could see from Maju. Also, the weird thing is the fact in Dragon Ball Super, they basically separated, well, for some reason, they re-separated Supreme Kai from, of course, his right-hand man, if you will. They originally fused in Dragon Ball Z, of course, and they actually stayed combined together in GT, but then they had them separated for some reason in Super. So there's a little bit more consistency in some elements of storytelling, like involving Supreme Kai and stuff, more in Dragon Ball GT than in Super. That's one of the big first things I like to speak on. Second, I will say I think overall quality of animation, I still think there's better quality overall in the animation department, fight scenes and things. Maybe some stuff looks great in Super, and yeah, I will say there's definitely a lot of great stuff like Jurian's fight, the Tournament of Power, but at the same time, I really enjoyed Dragon Ball GT for what it was. I like the Black Star Ball saga. Yes, I'll admit it has one of the worst villain creatures or whatever of all time, that being with the character of Lude. But then we would be introduced to other characters similar to that of like Dr. Gero with Dr. Mew, which is actually a character I liked. And I'll admit, I will defend Dragon Ball GT in one area. I think GT excels over Super. Super has some decent villains. Specifically, I want to say, I think Goku Black / Zamasu are incredible bad guys and villains. But sadly, that saga and everything ends anticlimactic. Now, the only reason why I have a little bias on it is because I have a big love for the future history, or rather the future universe or alternate reality of Future Trunks. And I like a little bit in that area. Also, I like the whole idea of an evil Goku, though it is clearly Zamasu inhabiting Goku's body, obviously. But with that said, on the other hand, I'm not a big fan of the overall design of Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku. I'll be honest, I don't care, even though the blue hair is kind of cool and all. I'll take Super Saiyan 4 Goku any day over Super Saiyan God Goku. It's that simple. When it comes down to it, yes, like I said, Zamasu and Goku Black are awesome. But at the same time, I could say there's some incredibly criminally underrated villains in GT, specifically General Rildo, also / Metal Rildo, Dr. Mew, both incredibly, I think, somewhat underrated villains. Also, though brief, I actually really liked one specific of the Shadow Dragons, that being Nova Shinron, though he was killed relatively quick by Sin Shinron, which would, of course, fuse with all the air balls and become Omega Shinron, which is something I might talk about in the future when I do a retrospective full review out of both seasons of GT. I reviewed several years ago GT Season 1. I'm going to redo that and do Season 1 and 2 together as a retrospective, because I feel GT deserves more love than it actually gets. Yes, I'll admit, for some weird reason, I have a weird enjoyment of the weird English rap theme of GT, though I will see Dan, the original Japanese theme for GT, in my personal opinion, is the best Dragon Ball theme of all time. That's my opinion, though. So take that what you will. I'm sure there's some people that really disagree with me on that, and that's fine. Just like I will say, in my opinion, one of the greatest villains of the entire Dragon Ball universe comes from GT. Baby. The whole concept and everything of Baby is fascinating, because you finally get some payoff with mentioning in Dragon Ball Z with originally King Kai talking about the Tuffle Planet and everything in Season 1 of Dragon Ball Z. Look it up. He tells Goku about the history of the Saiyan race and about the Tuffles for the planet. Then the Saiyans invaded and they took the planet. And then, of course, King Vegeta would rename the planet after himself with pure irony and everything. And of course, this is also a bit of a retelling you get to see also with Baby when he comes face to face with Vegeta. Of course, when he eventually takes over Vegeta's body and becomes Baby Vegeta, which is arguably considered to be the most iconic design of, obviously, Baby is Baby Vegeta. Regular Baby by himself is still interesting in the fact that Dr. Mew thinks he created Baby when in fact Baby basically created Mew. Or rather, Dr. Mew, which is fascinating. You have also cool characters like Hellfire 17 or Super Android 17, whichever you prefer name-wise. There is, I think, more consistency to the Dragon Ball Z timeline in GT than there is in Super. Also, I'll be honest, I prefer Dragon Ball GT Goku over Super Goku, and I mean not just the Super Saiyan 4 design, but his personality. Yes, it's kind of weird things, but at least also I get things a little bit more with the reintroduction of, like, Emperor Pilaf. At least he's old like he should be, him, Mai, and Shu. With the, of course, introduction. Plus, I love the Black Star Dragon Balls, like that ultimate version of Shenron. Love the design, love everything, and I think the send-off at the end of Dragon Ball GT with the music, it really hits you hard with emotion. Super did not get the same emotion out of me as GT did. GT was superb, and I even liked the introduction at the end to new characters like Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. and seeing Grandmother Pan. That's the thing also, I actually don't mind Pan in GT, though she is a teenager to be fair in GT. But I also really enjoyed also the brief appearances he made, Hercule Satan. I really like those things. In general, I love GT, but as a whole, looking at every season of Dragon Ball, I like every season for a different reason. At the end of the day, of course, Z is and will always be my personal favorite. I agree though, Dragon Ball has a lot of key importances, of course, some great villains like, of course, obviously, King Piccolo, as well as the introduction, everything. Also, underrated villains I want to see from Dragon Ball Z, in my opinion. Criminally underrated, Garlic Jr. He deserves a lot more love than he gets. I just want to say that. But that is just a base synopsis and just some of my overall thoughts and opinions as a whole on the Dragon Ball universe. So take that what you will. But I'll see y'all next time. And stay safe. Hopefully enjoy the choosy and music in the background. And I will, overall, I want to quickly give my opinion overall out of all 4 series. What would I grade each Dragon Ball series? Well, given it has nostalgia factor, and I do still really appreciate the everything about Dragon Ball, I have to give original Dragon Ball an A+. I'd give Dragon Ball Z an A+. If I could, I'd give an A++++. But whatever. Dragon Ball GT and Dragon Ball Super. Very interesting installments in their own rights for many different reasons. At the end of the day, Dragon Ball Super, I give Dragon Ball Super as a whole, looking at everything combined together, I give Dragon Ball Super a A-. I give Dragon Ball GT a plain flat A. Yes, just barely I like Dragon Ball GT more than Dragon Ball Super at the end of the day. Looking back, rewatching all of GT after watching all of Super, I have to come to my conclusion, my personal opinion, I like Dragon Ball GT just a little bit more than Super. And I don't see that honestly changing. I admit, my opinion may not be one of the more popular opinions out there, though I know, because I know from people I've talked to and looked at our fellow YouTubers make videos about, there are other people out there I know that do appreciate GT more than a lot of the overwhelming, for some reason, back in the mid to late 2000s, so everyone bashed on GT. They forget Akira Toriyama had to give approval for everything. Yes, it wasn't based on a manga. This is true. But with that said, GT still is great. It has a great soundtrack. Especially like the English, the American dub music soundtrack to GT, just like Dragon Ball Z. I like Funimation's music better. As time would go on Super, I actually don't mind the Japanese music, nor do I mind the original Dragon Ball series music. I think is great. But yeah, I like the music, specifically in GT, the Funimation done stuff. And I love the English dub. I like the overall story. Like I said, there's definitely some weak spots. One of the biggest problems I have with GT is, of course, a few specific characters called the Para Para Brothers, and the weird, stupid special attack thing called the Para Para Dance. It's really dumb. Look it up on YouTube. Seriously, it's ridiculous. But at the same time, I appreciate the cheesiness. People seem to forget how really cheesy and over-the-top Dragon Ball and Z were. And yet they want to hate on GT just because I guess they feel it's cool to hate on GT. I don't know. But with that said, that's my opinion. In order of the series, for me personally, in fourth place is Dragon Ball Super. Third place is Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball GT. Second place is Dragon Ball. First place is Dragon Ball Z, obviously. And in the future sometime, I may do a ranking of every season of Dragon Ball, its own, and then Dragon Ball Z. And maybe do a bonus GT with Dragon Ball. But with that said, that is my opinion on the Dragon Ball universe and overall. And you can stay tuned in the future for a retrospective review, which I will do on, of course, Dragon Ball GT. And I look forward to that and discussing more of my passion and love for GT. And I feel it deserves a lot more respect than it gets. But with that said, I'll see y'all next time.